Hello, War Cubs. This is Mr. Cockcroft, one of your 7th grade ELA teachers. And today we're going to be talking about a very important subject as we get going in our virtual learning for the year. And that is simply how to send an email. For some reason, there are many students that have lost this ability or have never been taught this ability of how to send a nice professional email to their teachers. So that is why I'm here today to help you all out. So the first thing I want to think about is what is the purpose of an email? Some different questions we can think about and maybe brainstorm as we begin this kind of journey of how to craft and create a professional email is what is the difference between email and a text conversation via phone? One of the things we saw last year, and even during the summer as we got several emails throughout the summer, is how we treat emails. Some students think it's just a quick way to get in touch with a teacher. They can just type their message and be done, and not really put any care or thought into the actual creation and craft of an email. What does tone have to do with sending an email? Tone is something that in ELA we're going to talk about a lot. Tone is something that will be in all of our stories that we read. And an author's tone or a email's tone can be taken different ways depending on how it's written. Last year, I would get emails simply saying, "Why is my grade the way it is?" Period. That's it. And so immediately I look at that and, the tone of that email is kind of disrespectful. I'm getting a little defensive. What's wrong with your grade? Well, let's have an actual conversation and let's actually think about how we can ask about grades or ask about anything in a professional manner when we send our emails. And then finally, number 3, why is sending a professional email important? Obviously, we want to be polite. We want to come across as a scholarly person, someone who is professional and kind as we go about our day-to-day. And of course, here's a pretty silly example that we might see in a text thread. Great seeing you, and then can you actually decipher what this actually says? Lol, was great to see you too, but OMG, oh my gosh, gotta go, talk to you later, exclamation point. Obviously, that's probably not the best thing you might want to send to a boss, send to your teacher, or send to a principal, okay? All right, so let's talk about the different parts of an email. Let me make this full screen again. Again, believe it or not, this is not just an easy tool to text your teacher. This is an email. There is a difference, and there are different parts we need to be aware of. There are many other parts, such as creating a carbon copy and adding attachments that we're not really going to talk about as much in this video. But let's just talk about the basics. We have our to. This is where you'll type in your teacher's email, steven.cockcroft@cravenk12.org, don.grady, Elizabeth.DeBosier, whoever your ELA teacher is, that's who you'll be putting in this top section. Let's talk about the subject. Think about for a second. Is this where you should put the entirety of your email? I hope immediately in your head you said, "Oh my gosh, no, Mr. Cockcroft, that's ridiculous. I would never put my entire message or email in this one subject column." This is simply where you're going to put the overall topic of your email. If it's grades, then yeah, just put question about grades. If it is a question about something we did in class, you could, again, just whatever it is, simply say, "Hey, quick question," or "quick question" would be appropriate. Here's our salutation. And every email should have a salutation or greeting. It shouldn't immediately just go into, "Hey, what was the story about we read it in class? I had a couple questions." No, start with a salutation, start with a greeting to start a professional email. A couple ways you can do that. You could simply say, "Dear Mr. Cockcroft," perfectly fine. Personally, one little tip and trick, we'll get to tips and tricks in a future slide. I like using time of day. Time of day is a good way to simply start an email. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. All of those are appropriate ways to start an email as you get into the body and purpose of your email. So going into the body and purpose, and again, this is pretty straightforward. Be precise. Be intentional about what you're saying in the body of an email. You don't need to give us 2-3 pages worth of content just to get to a simple question. When you're in the body of an email, that's totally fine if you need to be quick and precise about, "This is what I need, this is my question, this is what I need help with," or "This is the answer to an email that I might send you or your teacher might send you." It does not have to be paragraphs and paragraphs of content. Be precise, be simple, and then go to your closing. And again, there should be a closing. A simple way is sincerely blank, sincerely Mr. C or whoever you are. Again, there's a couple ways you could phrase your closing, but if you just want to be simple about it and say, have a good day, thanks for answering a question, hope you're doing well, plenty of ways to simply close an email. And then finally, if you do have an attachment, there is an attachment button down. I'm trying to see if y'all can see it, but it looks like a little paper clip. If you do have an attachment of a file, there it is. That is where you'll click and add a Google file or just a link to something that a teacher might need to see. So let's look at some things of what not to do. I did kind of this is from my email from last year. I did block out the content of who it was and what it was really talking about, but there was nothing in here. There was nothing in the body. It was simply one sentence in the subject saying, it's not letting me do the work. It's only letting me view. It's not letting me edit. Again, as a teacher, this is frustrating to get because one, what's not letting you work? What are you not viewing, or what can you not edit? It's not clear. This is not helping me help you, So immediately I see this email, I'm like, shake my head, shrug my head. I'm just like, man, now I got to figure out, okay, what is the actual problem? And this goes back to the body. There's nothing in the body of the email giving me any help or information of how to help you. So what not to do, entire message in the subject line, just like this, please do not. That's not what the subject line is for. Simply no introduction. Again, this person treated this kind of like a text message. There was no introduction saying, good morning, afternoon, I guess you can see 9 o'clock or whatever, good evening, Mr. Cockcroft. None of that. Just went straight to the subject line. We just talked about not really a clear purpose. Doesn't really tell me exactly what their problem is, just that they can't really edit or view something when I don't really know what that is. Casual text, just again, it's treated like a text message, and frankly, there's zero effort. It's lazy on the student's part to send an email like that. Being professional, again, this all goes back to being professional, being intentional, and just putting pride in their work and I feel like if they really cared about wanting to figure out how to do this work, you can send a professional email and try to figure out the problem so that we can figure it out together and hopefully, fix the problem and we're all good and happy down the road. So here's a quick little slide about tips, just to kind of go over a little bit of what we just talked about. Remember, subject line, keep it simple, make it relate to the body of the actual email, make sure it relates. Make sure we have a professional and appropriate intro / greeting to the email. Again, my easy tip is use time of day. Good morning, Mr. C, and then go into your body, or good afternoon, evening. Obviously, you want to make sure it actually matches the time of day. Don't say, good evening, Mr. C, when it's 8 a.m. in the morning and we're starting the day. Our body paragraph, stay focused and state your purpose. Does not have to be a thesis 10-page paper about your issue or problem or question. Just make sure you're staying focused, you state your purpose, and so we can hopefully help you out and get a quick resolution to your issue. And then finally, conclusion. Say goodbye. Think of it as you're ending a conversation with someone in person. You're going to say bye. Say, again, some just basic kind of phrases you can use. Hope you have a great day. Hope this email finds you well is a good, nice professional way to end an email. Or sincerely is obviously an easy way just to close it out. Okay. And here is what, just in case you've never seen, or it's been a while since you've actually sent an email, just a blank template of what you'll see when you click the compose button up here on your Gmail, email page. Recipients, type your teacher's name. Here's your subject line. Keep it precise, keep it simple. Right below the subject is where you'll type the body of your email. If you want to get a little bit creative and go to your settings on Gmail, maybe we can show you this later. You can make a little signature. You can have your student signature. You can have your student email. I don't know, student, 7th grade ELA student or 7th grade student, H.A. McDonald. You can create your own little signature that kind of just makes it look a little cool whenever you send an email. And of course, if we ever do need to use attachments, use the paper clip at the bottom. So now we're going to look at a very simple template or examples that we can use, or you can use in the future if you're ever having a question that you need to email a teacher. Again, very simple. Dear Mr. C, dear Mr. Bozier, dear Ms. Grady, whoever your teacher is, I had a quick question regarding blank. Again, whatever that question may be. Obviously, give enough information that we can definitely help you out immediately. But just to, and I've said it a couple times now, but you do not need to write a huge, long, couple paragraphs to describe a simple problem or whatever your issue is. Again, being professional, being polite, I would greatly appreciate any information or guidance regarding this issue. Thank you, and I hope you're doing well, or thank you. I hope this message finds you well, or hope you can respond soon. Again, all of that is appropriate and fine. Just being polite, professional, and concise with your email. Finally, closing sincerely, Joe Schmo, Jane Doe, whoever you are. All right, so now you are going to try, this is kind of your first mini assignment for the year. How fun. You are going to send an email to me or whoever your ELA teacher is, Ms. Grady, Mr. Bozier. So using the information above, you're going to craft an email to not one of your core teachers, I should probably change that, to one of your ELA teachers specifically. We don't want to send a million emails to our lovely science, math, and social studies teachers. This is our assignment. So send an email to one of your ELA teachers, whoever it is. Of course, remember to be professional, purposeful, and polite with your email. So here is some of the instructions, kind of how we kind of want to phrase this assignment. Your subject line. So again, remember, if we're going back to the email, your subject, that is going to be professional email assignment. This is going to be important because it lets us as the teachers who are receiving these emails sort them so it's not kind of a bunch of different subject lines. It lets it remain consistent and organized. So please, that is part of the assignment, is put professional email assignment in that subject line. You are going to have to write a professional email to your ELA teacher, introducing yourself and sharing 2 goals that you have for the year. So that's what's going to be in the body of your paragraph, is you're going to share 2 goals that you have. One of those goals is going to be an academic-related goal, which means it's something about school specifically. It can be about grades. It can be about this content or something you are really looking forward to learning. Maybe you have a goal about some subject. That doesn't necessarily have to be English, but it should be about school. One goal about school. It actually doesn't have to be related to the content. It could be related to a club. It could be related to a sport. Or something maybe social about school, but the goal has to be something about school. You also need to create one personal goal that, again, that can be something outside of school. So if you have something at home that you're really trying to look forward to and succeed at, maybe it's, a video game, maybe it's some, extracurricular activity outside of school that you're really trying to strive for, you'll also put that in the body of your email. Each goal should be explained in about 2 to 3 sentences. So it shouldn't just be, my one academic goal is to get honor roll, period, done. That's, we're in 7th grade now. We're not doing simple sentences like that. We're going to have some good thought. We're going to be creative about it. It should be about 2 to 3 sentences. One way to think of it is, one sentence stating your goal, the second sentence stating like why is this goal important to you? And then maybe that third sentence is steps of how you'll complete the goal. So if you do want to get an honor roll or you want to get an A in a class, if that's an academic goal of yours, well, tell me why that's important to you. And then tell me what are the steps you're going to do to actually obtain that goal. Okay. And then just the general tips. Remember to show professionalism and care as you craft your email to us. And of course, close it out with a polite salutation or closing. So I hope this presentation finds you well. If you have any questions regarding any of the parts of the little presentation we went through, please feel free to contact myself or any of your ELA teachers, or frankly, any teacher will be happy to just talk about emails and how the best way to send them. Every teacher is going to be getting emails. Every single one of you is definitely going to be sending a lot of emails throughout this year, especially because we're all virtual for the first part of it. And so this is an important skill and tool to take seriously and perfect as you strive to be a good professional scholar. And And remember, like, this is not just a one-time thing for one email or only maybe some of the emails you'll send. This process should be for every single email you send. Even if it is a very small problem that can be answered in a sentence from a teacher, still go through those steps of sending a polite introduction, address your problem or question, and then have a polite salutation at the end. That is how every email should be sent. Really no excuses at this point. All right, so now each of you has been trained in how to send an email. Hopefully we can have a great year of professionalism and courtesy and just overall organization as we send emails and get in contact with our teachers and have some great learning this year.